Hello. Oh, there you are. You were there for a second.
Hey,
now you're back.
I'm back. Love the setup you've got going.
Thank you very much. Wait, I need to make one change. Just one change.
Sure.
1 second.
Okay.
Just 1 second. Twinsies.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. My trusty SM58, it has done me well over the years.
They're good microphones, aren't they?
They're fantastic. I mean, I don't have a podcast, so I don't have a podcast mic, but hopefully this will do.
It's all in the post anyway. Like
yeah, it's very small differences.
Very small differences, and also like you don't need to have like. You don't have to have a big ass pop filter and
yeah, it just covers up the most of the face.
It is a good look though.
Oh, it's great.
You like it?
Yeah, just keep it the rest of the time. Yeah.
I include all this anyway because I'm a fan of chaos.
Hell yeah, why not?
What's going on, Monique?
Not too much. Thanks for having me on board.
You're welcome. Actually, I do have one more idiotic thing to mention. Are you a fan of Family Guy at all?
I don't know if I would necessarily I know all the references or anything like that, but I have seen it in my lifetime.
There was one episode.
Why is that?
When I was getting ready this morning, there was one episode that came to mind where Stewie wouldn't stop saying a Pym's cup in a Pym's cup. And for some reason, I linked that to Monique Pym. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Pym's cup in a Pimp cup. And then I just imagined you guys performing in a giant Pimp cup.
Yeah. I get the whole Pims thing a lot, actually. Like, oh, what are you drinking, Pims? Like, nope.
The first time it's like, ah, ha, ha. And then afterwards it's like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. Pretty much. There's not too much else to relate it to, though, so I'll take it. I never had a nickname, so I'll take whatever I can get.
Our mutual friend, who you know who I'm speaking of, sent me the single Bearer of Bad News, and it was the first time I've heard Reliqa, which I thought it was pronounced Reliqa.
You got the pronunciation.
I did.
I've had a couple of chats in the last few days, and I think you might be the first one. Oh yeah, first or second one who actually got the pronunciation. So I'm impressed.
There's one reason for that. Only one reason. Because
someone's told you.
No. Well, sort of. You did.
I did.
Proxy. So I thought I should probably, while I'm getting ready and everything, listen to just a quick interview that you've done with someone else just to make sure I don't screw anything up. And this English fellow pronounced the name and I'm like, oh, I've been pronouncing it Reliqa. And, there's a quick change.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, I mean, hopefully won't be too difficult an adjustment for you to make. But we take whatever by these days. These days we go with it. Anyone calls us whatever they want. We're like, okay, as long as you like the music.
I'm a huge fan of yours, Michael Jackson.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome. Excellent. As I was alluding to before.
The Bearer of Bad News.
Bearer of Bad News. Heard that and I thought, this is kind of cool. Then I heard Mr. Magic and I'm like, yeah, dude, that's a cool clip. And then I found out there was 2 EPs and your stuff that happened back in 2018. I'm like, oh gosh, these guys have been around for a while and they're consistent. This is cool. The band's been around for a bit.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
A little. I mean, we really started coming onto the scene, I guess, starting to play shows and stuff like that. I would say late 2017, early 2018. Our first release was early 2018, but that was actually recorded quite some time beforehand. We just hadn't, we were still in high school and we were still trying to figure out our way when it comes to releasing music and things like that, learning how it all goes down. So by the time that the first EP, Afterlight, came out in early 2018, I think it was January 2018, we had already progressed so far. So we'd already written the Eventide EP and we'd already started recording that one. And that's what came out later 2018. So yeah, both of those were released in the same year. But I would say that Eventide was a big step up from Afterlight. So I think that once we had released Eventide, we started playing some more exciting shows. And yeah, 2019 is where we started, I guess. People were like, oh yeah, I've heard of them. A few people, around the Sydney, Newcastle area. And yeah, so I guess you could say, how long is that now? 4 years? Yeah, so I guess that's probably an accurate representation. We have been playing together. We all went to high school together, so we have been playing together for like quite some time longer, but we're talking covers in the garage and stuff like that. So we've got a long history, but yeah, the band started coming together probably about 4 years ago now.
It's not really often that a high school band really kind of progresses out of high school and especially onto the stage that you guys are on. Like you guys are consistently high performers from like in spirit, but also in numbers as well. That's definitely something I wanted to touch on later on later on in the interview.
Totally. And you're not the only person who has said that they didn't expect high school bands to keep going. And I mean, I feel the same way sometimes. Like, how did we do this? But I think it's just because when you really know people like that, like we've been friends for 10 years now, 10, 11 years now. So yeah, when you really know people like that and you really start to understand each other, it can either go one of two ways. You can know each other too well and then it starts to clash, or you can click. And I guess that's what happens.
Well, if I can ask, how did you guys kind of coalesce?
The way that I like to put it is kind of like high school is a bit like a fishbowl. You've only got so many people in your inner community to make friends with. You're all just stuck in this little fishbowl, and you're becoming an increasingly bigger and bigger fish as you go throughout the years. But we had similar interests coming in and, I don't know, shared classes and things like that. And it just, you know how you make friends in high school. It was just awkward little lanky 12-year-olds. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah.
Friends?
Well, I got lucky, I guess. Just these
thing.
Yeah, probably. No, these awkward 12-year-olds just sort of clashing heads, and we sort of found each other in like just this little group. And I don't know, we really definitely helped each other find our music taste. For example, I wasn't really necessarily a heavy listener, except for my like my brother, for example. Like my older brother got into his emo phase while I was just starting to come into high school, so I did enjoy a little bit of that, you know, My Chemical Romance, Disturbed, Slipknot, etc. But yeah, you know, the usual suspects.
Hey, Kesha's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, right on, dude. I agree. I don't know too much of her music, but yeah, she really is underrated. That song, like her comeback not too long ago, I can't remember what the song was, but like it has that one really high note in it. Mm-hmm. That was a good track. I'm really into it. But yeah, I guess it's a very straightforward answer. We just kind of did. Once we all started learning that each other was into music and started sharing music tastes and styles and stuff, and we started practicing in the garage, and it just happened, and we just haven't really looked back since, I guess.
Feel that. Well, how did you come across the name Reliqa?
Well, we were actually coming back to the high school thing, I guess.
It's not like I don't have detailed names.
Oh, look, it's a cute story. Like we were looking for a band name at the time. We knew we wanted to start doing this a little bit more seriously. And around age 16, 17, like year 11 type thing, we were all studying the poetry of John Donne. He's a metaphysical poet, and he has one poem called The Reliq. And the relic is spelled Relique. And he basically, you know, when you're in that mindset and you're looking for a name for something, you're actively thinking about it. And when you see something, it sort of sticks and it looks cool. And so we all knew what each other was talking about because we were all studying the same thing. And we sort of played around with it a little bit, and we got Reliqa, and that's what we came up with. We really liked it.
I feel that, like reading the poem myself, and you know, on what you're talking about, when you come across something and it becomes magnetic towards a whole bunch of things that the band stands for.
Definitely.
That does sound like something that I've seen the band purvey in their social media, especially say in the description for Mr. Magic. I can't remember exactly what it said word for word, but
I almost feel like I remember that one. Something about like
Whether it's pointing the finger at God on high.
Yeah. And it's on you to point the finger, like as far as God or as near as the mirror, sort of thing. Accountability and responsibility for the abuse of power and things like that. That's a very political track, that one. I'm interested to hear what you were about to say about the description, but yeah, very political.
I feel that with the description of that and some of the other stuff that you've purveyed in the social media, it is magnetic towards the relic. In terms of, the three stanzas, the first one being a description of a future that's not wanted, but basically inevitable. Maybe. It's a possibility, I should say. It's a possibility. Grave broken up, bracelet of hair around the wrist. Mr. Magic in particular is kind of like, the way I interpreted it anyway, in the context of the poem, was this is kind of a thing that could happen unless we do something about it.
Yeah, definitely. I think I can pretty much confirm that is a lot of what Mr. Magic is about. For a little bit of context, it was written during late 2019, early 2020. No, earlier than that. Yeah, late 2019, when we were going through the bushfires in Australia, you may remember. And basically around that time, a lot of people were starting to speak out about leadership and about accountability when it comes to leadership and being able to take responsibility for the wider community and for the safety of others. And I mean, that has reigned true to through COVID as well. But there was a lot of anger around it and lots of frustration. So Mr. Magic became a little bit of a look at where you're taking us type thing. Look at where we're all of us are very passionate as well about climate responsibility as well. So just basically about, we are headed for destruction. We need someone to lead us out of this sort of thing. I don't know. It sounds a bit cheesy when you explain it. It's kind of like explaining a joke. You're so right. It definitely does look towards the future in that sense. And it's very much a little bit of a cautionary tale, that one.
What is it exactly about these topics about, say, the bushfires and stuff like that, for example? It's a dumb question. Unless you weren't in Australia at the time and you didn't see, weeks on end of smoke everywhere and, certain people being in Bali or Hawaii or whatever it was at the time.
It was Hawaii. Yep.
What is it about, what was it exactly that's really fueled that flame as far as the song goes?
Well, I think pretty much everything that you just said, that I just said, the lack of accountability essentially during that from our leaders at that point of time, exactly you said, taking a holiday in the midst of a national crisis. It's just insulting. I don't know if there's anything that I think we are trying to do, not necessarily through our music, but just as people, as citizens, it's to not be passive when it comes to these types of issues. So any kind of platform we can have to raise awareness for these types of ridiculous issues, that's definitely something we should try and harness. So I think that's what we did. And in saying that, I don't think we will necessarily always be going down a political statements type path, especially in our newer material. We haven't really touched on that. It's a lot more introspective, but it's definitely still something that I'll never say never. If something happens that strikes our attention, you best believe we'll be talking about it.
The band has a bit of a focus on climate and stuff like that, but also the band has a bit of a tendency to talk about things that aren't exactly easy to talk about.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's something that we try and do through our music. The Bearer of Bad. Well,
you kill it, especially the way you spit.
Thank you. There's a lot of anger behind that. It's definitely a good cathartic outlet for all that sort of emotional turmoil, I guess. But when it comes to the Bearer of Bad News in particular, it is quite similar in a sense of when it comes to the themes as as Mr. Magic. Like the two have fairly similar connotations, I guess you could say. But basically, my rationale for The Bearer of Bad News when writing, in terms of a lyrical perspective, because I wrote the lyrics for that one, I intentionally tried to tell a story. Like it basically, one of the things that I feel most comfortable with and confident with when writing lyrics is writing from a perspective that's not my own. So in that sense, that's where it sets apart from Magic, because Magic definitely did come from a sort of more personal feeling place. But with Bearer, it definitely feels a little bit separated. It feels a little bit more fantasy, a bit more just imagined, I guess you could say. In saying that, a lot of the themes, power, corruption, etc., naivety, they all are rooted in very real world things. But I basically set it as my last, almost like a bit of a mission. I'll explain. So Bearer was my last opportunity that I was going to give myself, at least for now, to write a song from the outside perspective, write a story, basically, write a narrative. Because for our newer material, Bearer and onwards, I wanted to challenge myself to start looking a little bit more inward and start writing from a more personal place and a little bit more about myself and about my life and my experiences, not just me, but the rest of the band, etc. But I do the lyric writing, so I guess you could just say it's me. But yeah, I think that's something that's like one of those fun facts about Bearer, that it definitely tells a bit more of a story. And that's not to say that our new music doesn't tell a story. It definitely does, but it's definitely one that is rooted more in personal feelings. And that's really scary. And the reason that I set myself on this mission, I guess you could say, is to learn how to put feelings on paper, because it's so much easier to write a story that isn't connected to you. But I have so much respect for those writers who can. So yeah, I guess I've been trying to channel that and trying to learn how to do that.
I feel that. The cool thing about taking that approach is it's a little bit of a Joni Mitchell thing to do, especially like when she was in her early 20s. I can't remember the name of the song right now, but there was a song where she was speaking about her life experiences and stuff like that. And in that version of the song, it was, from memory, somewhat a little broken, but also hopeful. But then she re-recorded the song like way later on, like I think it was in the 90s. She re-recorded the same song, and all the lyrics and everything were the same, but and I'm not saying that you might do the same thing, but maybe later way down the track you could look at the experiences that you're sharing in the upcoming material through the same type of lens, through like the experiences that you've had, going from leading up to your life as it is now, and then looking back on that from a future perspective. It's a very powerful thing. Like a lot of people were critiquing Joni Mitchell at the time for saying that, oh, why are you writing songs about your life and your experiences when you're so young? But a lot of people kind of forget that growing up is a traumatic experience. There's
Great point. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's not until you kind of get to become an adult proper and things just kind of stop and slow down, and then you're like, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah, no, you're so right. And like exactly what you said, part of the reason that I want to write from an introspective point of view, from something that's a little bit more personal, is so I can reflect back on it later and think of, how far we've come. And I mean, we do that with our existing music already. Like, at least from a sonic perspective, we'll say, wow, I mean, sure, those demos were great, or sure, those that EP was great, but look at where we are now. Look at how far we've progressed. So yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to having that kind of as a almost like a time capsule of where we're at right now, capturing these experiences and seeing what happens in the future. So yeah, and you're so right. Like, I can be critiqued every day about how I'm only 22 years old at this stage and I'm writing about my life, but everyone has a different experience, and everybody knows, you're so right. Like, the experiences growing up can be just as full as an entire lifetime for others. So I think that it's still definitely valid to look introspectively, and it's a really good skill to learn as well. So I've been enjoying going along that journey, I think. while it has been traumatic and scary, but it's also super rewarding.
It also gives you the opportunity to, well, first of all, go through it with words, but also pair it up with music. And
yeah,
it's your lyrics, but it's Miles, Ben, Brandon. It's their input as well. They're adding their backdrop to the piece as well. So it's like
that is so right.
It's and being that you guys have all grown up together, these are all kind of commingled, and
yeah.
I wouldn't say it's more powerful than the words, but either the words or the music are less powerful without the other. Because like a diary, you can come back to, read, and you can kind of maybe think about what you were saying at a particular point in time. But if you have the music to pair it up with, then it's a lot more than just spilling your mind onto page. It really grounds it, I think. You're so right. And yeah, it's definitely been a collaborative experience. And working with the boys on this one has been really awesome because they've learned more about me. I've learned more about them. We're learning a lot as we go. So I hope that people enjoy it as much as we've enjoyed the experience. We were saying earlier about the band being a consistently high performer, and like, I know you have I'm aware that you have a marketing background. Is that right?
Yeah, I do. I work in marketing for a little firm called Overdrive PR, and so I do music marketing for other bands just like mine.
So consistently high performer in your socials, in your streams and stuff like that. I know you do marketing, as you said, like, a second ago. Like it's hard. It's keeping up with the Joneses as far as social media goes at the moment in a band is a full-time job in itself.
That's right.
How do you do it?
Look, that's a very, very good question. And I wish I had concrete answers for you. I think it's quite a difficult question to answer because obviously every band, every platform is different when it comes to social media and when it comes to your habits. The answer that I have for you is definitely not my, I don't have my marketing hat on right now. If I put my marketing hat on, my answer might be a little bit different. But I'm talking specifically as Mon from Reliqa, who handles the socials. You're going to be disappointed, but my patterns are not as structured as you might think. We do handle things quite sporadically. I mean, I like to keep things as organized as possible. I guess like I am definitely the planner of the band. That's part of why like I handle the socials and have been for so long. And you'll notice that not every post performs super well, if that makes sense. Like, sure, a lot of them do really well, like for our audience, and we are really happy with how the kind of engagement that we receive. But a lot of it, as you said, like algorithms are changing every single day. Platforms are changing every single day. A lot of it is constant trial and error. And when you find something good, you stick to it. So like when you find, like, I mean, of course, checking in on insights every few months is definitely an important step in making sure that you are working really well. Look, this is me putting my marketing hat slowly on, but we're not here to talk about marketing. But I guess, if I'm talking, wow, I guess I think it's a loaded question.
I think I framed the question a little bit badly. I guess in terms of Reliqa, what do you feel your interaction with fans on social platforms is like that keeps them coming back?
That's a really good question. I think one of the mantras that I have, and again, I've still got the marketing hat on slightly, but we're starting to take it off. I don't know. I just don't want to chat. I just don't want to like cram your ears with business. That's so boring. But like, I guess one of the mantras that I live by when it comes to having a social presence is only post when you have something to say. I think that that's one of the important things that I stick to. And I mean, of course, there's a loophole to that. You have to find something to say as well. You can't just be like, oh, well, we've released this song. That was my thing. Okay, now like, let's just fuck off sort of thing.
Yeah.
Sorry for my French.
That's not French. That's a swear word.
Yeah, but you know the old saying. Pardon. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course you need to find something to say. You can't just like float around and pretend like you've said everything when there's still so much you can think of. You have to create content as you go, and you have to find ways to keep your audience engaged. Mm-hmm. But I think that mantra has helped in the sense of not unnecessarily posting, if that makes sense. Like, and I mean, getting into the habit of it and getting into a routine is really important, especially for like bands that are just starting out. Like, you need to post something, and there will be a lot more of that posting. I suppose not as engaging content, just to have your socials populated. That's fine. That's an important thing. But yeah, when it comes to someone of our sort of established level, I guess, only speaking with your audience when you know that what you have to say will matter to them in some way or another. If you have shows, tell them what it is, tell them where it is. Like, make sure to update people regularly on any information that they might need to know, might want to know. If you have music coming out, great. Make sure to make people fully aware that it's where it is available. And if you've got press coverage, make sure that people are fully aware of where they can hear more about you, things like that. It's, I don't know, it's just one of those habits we've gotten into where seeing the same type of post, for example, like, where do you want to see us play next? Or who's still spinning this song and stuff. It's like, that doesn't necessarily, and I mean this with zero disrespect to those who do post that way, because like I said, bands who are still establishing themselves, they still need to do those things to be able to populate. But I think that it becomes less valuable when it's less meaningful. So I don't know, that's just something we think about. And when it comes to the engagement we get, it varies quite a lot, and we just sort of take it in our stride and improve what we need to improve as we go.
I feel that. Have you ever heard of the? I think it's called the Christmas dinner effect when it comes to marketing.
I don't think so.
When say you have a song like, and you were saying during that stanza, putting a song out there, being like, here it is. And then the next day, nothing. Or the days after, we've got a song. Here's the song. Bye. The Christmas dinner effect. So, you have a Christmas dinner coming up, metaphorically, but knowing how to, first of all, warm up the audience, have perhaps a few different versions of the song available, or a few different clips, perhaps, like say you got the song.
Yeah, like teasers.
Yeah, teasers, a lyric video, the lyric video proper, maybe a live version or an acoustic version, and like having something that is kind of like a raffle. My belief anyway, when it comes to marketing and stuff like that, it's a little bit of a raffle, especially with social media. Every time you put something out there, it's like you're buying another ticket to win a prize of someone's attention. And
that's absolutely right. And yeah, that's a really good analogy.
If you're buying multiple tickets to the same thing, one of two things might happen. Like, you might be successful that way if you're spamming a video or something like that. But most of the time when people kind of watch a video, it's kind of like they've seen it, they've done it. That's it. It's done. If they want to listen to it in their own time, they want to listen to it with their own imagination and not kind of be told visually what it is that they should be thinking or feeling or whatever like that. People are going to ascribe whatever they want to the music themselves. You guys do have a tendency to employ a form of that where you're really good at repeating the same thing with songs and stuff like that in ways that are interesting, engaging, and have people keep coming back. And doing the research for this, looking through all that, I was just like, on point. These guys know what's going on. This is cool.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that you feel that way.
Memorable touring experiences.
We actually haven't been on tour yet, believe it or not.
Oh, wait, no, you played with, you played the show.
We did play with Thornhill a couple of shows. We played 4 shows with them, so I suppose you could call that like a mini weekender type thing.
Yeah, that counts. That counts.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, if we're talking memorable, it absolutely was memorable. In fact, it was our only set of shows this year, and it will remain our only set of... Oh, no, that's a lie. There was one other show with our dear friends in Red Hook. That was earlier this year. But those will remain our only shows in 2021, which is sad in a way, but also it sets 2022 up for success. Like, we can only go up from there, right? But yeah, like, Thornhill was fantastic. It was amazing working with them for those few days. I mean, in terms of live experiences that I've really enjoyed, probably one of the most memorable was early 2019. As I said a little bit earlier, like we were starting to establish ourselves like late 2018, early 2019. That was when we started coming into our own a little bit more. One of the first like kind of major events that we were put on was with Seven Dust at the Metro Theatre in Sydney.
How good is the Metro?
They're awesome, right?
How good are Seven Dust?
It was so memorable. Like we'll never forget it, like everything that happened that night. The band, like Seven Dust, like the members are so fantastic. Like we spoke to 𝙎𝙤𝙘𝙙𝙨, we gave him a shirt actually. That was really sweet and really cool. And again, with Red Hook, we played with them that time. I think that might have been the first time we played with them. And we've played with them like 4 or 5 times since. Like we're pretty tight now, which is awesome. And yeah, just the stage, like, and the crowd is just huge, really. Like
it's a kind of an incredible setup there, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Like, I mean, to this day, probably is still the biggest stage we've played. Oh, no, we did play another one in Wollongong, which was physically bigger, but I'm talking like the most memorable stage that we've played. Yeah, to this day, absolutely. That was super, super like unforgettable, really. But I mean, and I know that this is such a cheesy answer, but I feel like the best, most memorable touring experiences are yet to come. Because Full Tilt and Monolith next year are going to be awesome. It's less than a month away until we play Full Tilt in Brisbane. We are so, so excited because it will have just been the first time that we've played in like almost a year by that time. And I mean, we're nervous, but super excited. And then we've got our first national tour with Carnival, Cog, Pliny, Ocean Grove. That's the Monolith Festival tour.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really excited for that one too.
I'm hoping to be there as well to,
Oh, yes.
I bought this specifically for that event.
Very nice.
So
that's swanky. I like it.
It might be pointed at your face at some point soon. Right.
Yeah, cool. So you're a photographer?
I am, yeah. I do
awesome. Yeah, hell yeah. A bit of an all-rounder. I love it.
Just a little bit. Like I was going to say about the Metro, there's the coolest thing about the Metro, looking out, you got the crowd and then you've got the risers, and I'll probably get in trouble for saying this from someone, but it's possible to climb on top of those speaker stacks and jump off. I may have done.
Oh, no way.
Oh my God. Trouble.
Look, I think I'm too much of a scaredy pants to do anything like that. Like you see people like climbing the scaffolding on stages and stuff. I'm like, how are you not? I don't know. They probably ask you. They probably thrive on fear. People like, like Fever 333 and
well, yeah,
all the bands at Woodstock. Like
Jason Butler's a little bit yeehaw.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, wow. Okay, I won't tell anybody. Don't worry.
Secret squirrels.
Okay.
Well, I was going to ask like what the future of the band is, but you've already kind of touched on that a little bit.
I think I have. I mean, you know that we've got an upcoming release and we've got the Monolith tour and we've got a few other like tour opportunities in the barrel, which we're waiting to sort of figure out. But everything's looking pretty.
Millhouse?
It's all coming up Millhouse. Yeah, I was just about to say everything's coming up Millhouse for Reliqa at the moment. So you'll know more very soon. But for now, I pretty much said it all, I think.
Once I know it, then it's going to be passed on, obviously. Like, definitely a big fan over here. I did have a very quick question. Where did you get those pants that were in Mr. Magic? Because those pants are sick.
They are the best. They are my famous red pants. I got them from IMGR. That's the brand who makes them. I don't know if they do them anymore, but they're the coolest. And I've been searching for something that has matched them. Like, not matched them, but like beaten them, I guess, because I can't wear the same pair of red pants on stage forever.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I could, I guess, but they're gonna get destroyed. But all the photos are gonna look the same. You know this as a photographer. But yeah, IMG is where I got those pants. And if anyone sees anything better, let me know because I'll jump on it.
Create just like an article with your face, get Monique pants.
Yeah, a wanted poster of like an outline of pair of pants. Cool pants.
Like this,
preferably red. Yep.
Well, I have taken up a considerable amount of your time today. Way more
it's been lovely.
It has been. It's been a fun time. Like,
absolutely.
Kind of dipping in and out of like interview modes and the stuff.
It's fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure's all on this side, dude. Like, really is. Really is.
Well, I guess I'll be hopefully seeing you around Monolith.
Click.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
epic.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'll let you get on with your day and
thank you.
Stay safe. Have fun.
You too. Okay.
Doing the thing.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye. Restart my camera. That's why this has kind of gone a little bit whoop. Yeah. Bear with it.
That's totally fine.
Yeah. I'm talking to the people.
Oh, the people.
There's you here.
Don't worry about them.
Don't worry.
Don't worry about them. They're smart. They know what they're doing. They're cool. Yeah. Take it from me.
This is why you listen to Reliqa. You get compliments.